We all have to face difficult discussions. You know, those that you're really worried about, that they're going to be full of confrontation, and then that can then lead to you feeling like really anxious and full of dread. It might even cause you sleepless nights. And that conversation might be with a family member, friend, your child, co-worker, or even your boss.
If you've got one of those conversations coming up, then here's some tips for you.
So we're going to share with you some tips about difficult discussions, but we've got a whole host of different films to help with a whole host of different things. So do subscribe to our channel just to have a quick listen to our help, tips and advice. So those difficult conversations, how can we go about them?
Well, do you know what, Eva? The first thing is we always make it appear worse than it ever is. You know, I know myself that I've had telephone calls to make, and I've always made it so much worse in my head. And I put the phone down and thought, what was the problem?
Yeah, no.
You know, it's strange. So the first thing is, don't catastrophize. Don't make it worse than it needs to be. In fact, flip it the other way around. Look at it as, look, I'm making this conversation or this phone call or I'm meeting someone because I want to resolve this issue for everyone's benefit.
Yeah, so see it as a positive. Now,
That's right.
to help you feel more calm, just like anything, the more you practice something, the more proficient, the better you come at it, then you look more confident. So rehearse it, see it in your mind's eye, see it over and over, see it going really well. Think about all the things that you're going to say and do, make it look really smooth in your mind's eye so that when the time comes and you're actually face to face with that person or you're picking the phone up, you kind of have already done it. So you're going to feel much more in control and much more calm.
Changing your terminology is important as well. You know, this isn't conflict, this isn't going to be a difficult conversation, this isn't going to be hard work. Look at it as a way, this is a healthy discussion to solve a problem. And everyone's going to benefit.
And I think healthy discussion is the way forward, because that sounds much better than kind of a difficult conversation.
Challenging, it's going to be hard work.
Healthy conversation is the way forward.
That's the one.
So the other thing to bear in mind is, you know, what is the point of this conversation? What is your goal? Keep that in mind all the time, because you know what it's like when you sort of start going into these deeper meaningful, they can kind of go off at a different tangent. So think about, you know, what do I want from this conversation, and keep swinging it back to your goal, so that you're leading this conversation, so that it can just go better and how you want it to.
It's important that you don't disagree. You know, you might not agree with everything that someone says, but it's important that you say, I understand that point of view, but, and then consider your point of view, you know, and also if it's something that's really upsetting you don't want to hear, you know, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but you've always got to acknowledge what that person's saying.
In a kind way.
In a kind way,
yeah.
And then put your way across, because it shows that you care. But because if you were to disagree, as soon as you do, you put a wall up. So you don't want any walls. You know, you've got a situation, you want to resolve it. So I'm sorry that you feel that way. I understand that you feel that way, but just consider this.
And I think if that's done with sincerity as well, so you kind of know, oh gosh, I really am so sorry that you saw it that way, then, you know, you can't argue when somebody's being really nice and kind. So another thing that you should always do, and it is kind of like a security blanket around them and you, is to start and end with something really positive, complimentary, something really nice. So you start with a positive, you deliver what you want to deliver, and then you end with a positive as well. So that might be, listen, I want to have a chat with you, and it's because I really value our friendship that I really need to discuss this with you. So that's a nice thing to start with. And then finishing off with, you know, I really do appreciate that you've been so kind and understanding, and that you've been so patient and listened to what I've had to say.
That's
so,
a
nice
great point. Great point. And as you just said there, listen, really, really important. Staying calm, important. Whatever you do, don't get angry. You know, it might be in that conversation you hear things that you don't want to hear. However, don't get angry. If anyone gets angry, they immediately lose.
Yeah, and another way to lose is to kind of tell somebody that they're wrong, because nobody likes to be told that they're wrong. So don't say they're wrong, refer to it as a misunderstanding.
The best way to resolve this conversation is for the other person to offer the solution, not you, because you're not saying, well, I think we should do this. The best way to say is, look, how can we move forward?
Yeah.
Let the other person give you the resolution, and if they say, well, we can move forward this way, you go, yeah, that's great. could we consider this as well?
Yeah, I like that because you're actually guiding them to actually find sort of a compromise or a way forward with whatever it is that was troubling you. And that leaves the final point, and that is to say thank you and with sincerity. So, thanks for listening to me. Thanks for having this discussion with me. And by saying thank you, then you're kind of letting them know that you appreciate them and their time. So really hope that our tips there have helped. Don't forget about subscribing.
Yeah, and I really hope that if you've got a conversation coming up, that it goes well with these tips in mind. And yes, and we're putting new information on here all the time, every Monday and every Thursday. So please subscribe.